ending today almost 2 o'clock, a little bit later than what I would like. But I did have to wait for a setup on Moderna, mRNA. Pull that up. Let me just set an alert here just in case I am watching that stock. BLNK. So yeah, actually, I want to let you guys see what I'm looking at here. So this stock is kind of consolidated sideways quite a bit over the past couple of weeks. It's held its range and base sideways here, found support in through this area, and so it broke out, has started moving higher, and we can see that it is nearing some important pivots up here. But the most recent high up here is 34.67. So we have some room if we start to break out over these levels to 34, 35 bucks. I would think that if it starts to break out, it will hit those levels. Anyways, so in terms of a day trade, we're seeing lower highs here, right, coming in. This is a multi-day trend, right? And intraday, we have some support coming along this way. And I'm watching. Okay, so you can see that it's kind of holding this trend, this upward trend here. So a little bit. So if we draw this out a little more, we can see that it's going to break a pretty large trend line. And if it does that, usually volume comes in instantly. It starts to push higher. That's the type of moves that I look for. There's significant trend line breaks, off of support, and those bring in volume fast, and the price moves fast because of that. Because algorithms pick up on these same areas, other traders pick up on the same areas, and that brings in quite a few buyers. So for me, I would be looking at a long position. So I didn't take a position there. That was just me covering some shares that I had taken. So anyways, so I'd be looking for a long position. Sometimes I might take it like over this pivot here to get a little bit of an earlier entry, so I'm not relying on right around the high day. But on this one, 28.35, 28.35, if we pull this back a little bit, I'm not going to get too far into it, but we see over here 28.33, right? That's the last high, swing high, that we can kind of see in this window here, right above this area. We've got from here all the way up to here, basically 29 bucks, right? So we're looking at 75 cents in that window, and that's where we go long on the break of the last remaining area of resistance. We look for a confirmation and a close above that level, and then a push higher continuing on. So that's kind of what we would look for. Why I have that set up on watch, although I'm not really looking at trading it because there's low volume. We can see the volumes tapered off. We can see my indicators here. They're showing that there's no real uptrend going on. So it would need to hold this 9 EMA for me and start to push higher and get some volume coming in towards the highs. And then I'd look at jumping into that. Anyways, so we've got Moderna. This is what I was trading. Like I said, a little bit later into the afternoon. You can see it's reversing now, but I took my first entry here. So I was watching, you can pull this out, right? So actually, let me highlight it for you so you can see the significant area that I'm looking at, right? So this red line, right? This is the low of day, intraday, okay? We see that it bounced up here as well, right, on December 9th. You can see, pull it out further, you come across here. All of a sudden, again, it found this area at 147. Okay, so, and then again through here around 147. So multiple taps of this line at 147 of support, but we can see that there's not much support below that until around this level at 143, 143.50-ish. And so I was looking at this, we've seen it come down. Here's the low of day, bounced off that level, came up, and then started to fade away, came down, bounced off this level again, just briefly broke below it, but did not close. Bounced off that level again, but made a lower high, continued lower, bounced off the level again, made another lower high. And then by this point, I've got my trend line drawn here, my speed line coming down, and essentially that's going to be my stop, right? I'm looking for a breakdown here. This is my stop because that should hold as a speed line for the trend to continue. So I got short here at 146.81 and it broke down. I took some profit along the way and then I got out at 144-ish. Then it moved sideways. I got in again for a breakdown below 144. My target was around that area of 143 because we saw around 143.50, 143 was an area of support. It actually broke that briefly, but didn't go any higher, and now we can see it reversing, right? So that's that window, right? We see if I pull up this, make this green, we'll make it green as support, right? Okay, so you know what, let's get rid of these just to make it easier to see. Those are just lines that I draw that I'm watching on the 1 minute chart to see if there's support or anything like that. So, so we have these two lines here, right? This is short and this is support, or so this is support and this is support, but this is where I'm going short and this is where I'd be covering. So you can see if we pull this out, right? Look at this window here. There's nothing, there's no price action in here. And that's why we were able to come right down to this level here where there was obviously support and it started to make a move higher. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see it come back up and retest this level, and then we come back down towards the window. Not saying it will for sure, but now we have a trend downward, right? So that was what I was looking for. That's why I obviously traded a little bit later because this happened at 1 o'clock. It ended up being worth the wait, and I could have had a better day today. My ARVN pre-market, I was looking at this one. This was a mover the other day and moved up quite a bit. Now it's based sideways, same thing. I was watching a pre-market and I said over 84, which is here, 64, sorry. Over that level, I thought it was a good spot to go long. I didn't go long there because I was watching something else. Then I saw over 65 because we see here 65 is resistance. Over 65 is good. Boom, goes through 65, runs all the way up to 73 bucks. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to really trade that, and I didn't want to chase it. I did end up taking it later for a break through 73. I anticipated the break, which was my mistake today. I shouldn't have anticipated it. Should have just waited for the break 73, but I thought it was pretty strong. I thought it would break over 73 and go to the previous day's high over here at 75, and it could potentially go through. So my objective was going to be long through 73 to 75, take some profit, and then see what happens from there. But didn't work out that way. So this actually was a little frustrating because I had, like I said, plotted it correctly, but it was spready. Spready meaning that the bid and the ask prices were quite far apart, so it was hard to manage that trade. So yeah, that was mostly what I ended up trading today. I missed, you know, a couple things, which would have couple movers, which would have made my day a little bit better. I had AMD marked off here for a breakout over the 50 mark. 96.50, broke 96.50, then up to 98. So it's a point and a half, right? I had that plotted out. That was on the watch list early in the morning. Airbnb, this one I traded pretty well. Traded here. Unfortunately, I didn't get filled because it dropped so fast. So I got short here, this level, broke down, dropped so fast I couldn't get my order filled and got bought right back up. So that was a little bit disappointing. We knew the breakdown was going to happen, and I did watch Airbnb for the drop down through this level, and you can see that it dropped down quite a bit. So I did take a little bit of profit on that. So overall, it's a green day. Could have been a little bit better for sure, but I'm happy that it was green because you know, there were some opportunities missed, and today there really wasn't much out there to trade. There's no real news catalyst. We're coming towards Christmas, so things are going to slow down. So you know, I'm happy with the result of today. You know, you can see that getting a lot closer to where we were last week, a few days ago. And this is where, just trying to maintain some consistency pays off. And shares traded is lower as well. So tomorrow, I'm guessing that maybe 525, or sorry, not 525. I'm guessing that maybe we'll be at 68.50 around there, for in terms of equity. So day by day, right? And it's a good day, continuing on, moving in the right direction. Still want to make a little more improvements on patience, but obviously doing better than we did at the end of last week. So that's what we want to see. And we'll get back to it tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be Wednesday.